And good morning. I'm meteorologist Sean Sublett from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. This early Thursday morning tropical update. What was once Hurricane Ian has now been reclassified as a tropical storm. That means that the wind energy is not as strong as it was 24 hours ago, but there is still plenty of rainfall with the system pouring over North Florida first thing this morning. This is the satellite and radar summary over the past 6 hours. And in the green, you can see the first waves of rain actually advancing as far as the Gulf Stream waters off the Atlantic Ocean, nearing in on Myrtle Beach, and some of these even toward the southern outer banks of North Carolina. So as we look ahead in the coming 24, 48 hours for Central Virginia, we're going to start to see the rain settle in sometime on, let's say, Friday, midday-ish, give or take a little bit. But there's still plenty of time to get anything you wanted to get done today across Metro Richmond. So some takeaways as we go forward here from Thursday morning and into the weekend. Ian, no longer a hurricane. Now, it is going to emerge briefly back over the Atlantic, just off the northeast corner of Florida, and then hook back to the north, likely making a second landfall somewhere in South Carolina. It might briefly become a hurricane again, but it's barely going to just hold this tropical storm hurricane status. The impacts are going to be negligible no matter what we call it from this point out. This is a rain maker for us in Central Virginia. Certainly the winds will be onshore, so down at the coastline, there will be some minor coastal flooding, but let's think specifically about Central Virginia and areas westward. The rain gets to Richmond around midday, give or take a couple hours, all right, and then advances westward into the mountains. For Richmond, this is not a wind maker. I mean, there will be some 15, 25, 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts, but most of us can handle that pretty well. We don't see a lot of damage coming out of this at all. Like we mentioned yesterday, maybe a few branches down, the odd tree here or there over dozens and dozens of square miles, but this is not a big wind maker for us in Central Virginia. We get this first wave of relatively heavy rain on Friday, and then there's a legit break on Saturday. A couple of showers around, but we don't see a prolonged rainy day Saturday. It's going to be cloudy with showers, but we think Friday we get a long period, several hours worth of rain. Then Sunday and perhaps even into Monday, we will get more rounds of rain. So by the time the storm ultimately pushes offshore for good, we're looking at a broad area of 3 to 5 inches of rain across Central Virginia, and there will locally be some areas that get more to the west of Richmond. 4, 6, 7 inches may happen in parts of the mountains, and with that in mind, we still need to be very mindful of flooding, not so much on Friday or even Saturday, but as we get into Sunday, Monday, and then even into Tuesday, depending how much rain falls, not just in Richmond, but then upriver of the James, of the Rappahannock, those locations. Then we have to think about river flooding and those types of things. So right now we don't envision a Gaston situation, but we do need to be mindful of potential for heavy rain and flooding. First, the small streams and creeks, and then perhaps even of some of the larger rivers. So let's be safe, everyone. Be mindful of the flooding. Again, we don't expect widespread power outages either, but be on the lookout for some very intense rain as we go forward into Friday and after break Saturday, then more into Sunday and Monday. Stay safe, everyone.